Well, host GJ3 Full is back with even more news updates that are related to the previous upload, so again, let's jump into it. Breaking news, April 21, 2025. U.S. President Donald Trump met with major retailers, including Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Target, on Monday, meaning around the time of April 21, 2025, to discuss broad-based tariffs likely to raise the cost of everyday goods that they import. Big U.S. chains, like Walmart and Target, rely heavily on imported goods. So, did they just start talking? I sure hope that no one has been going around saying anything about something that has just started negotiating. Understand that there's a process when it comes to anyone negotiating things, if so, okay? They seem to be concerned about inflation on everyone, and it seems that, as of April 21, 2025, that they were still doing negotiations. They hadn't even talked to Walmart well enough yet. They were still waiting for a clear response from Walmart as of April 21, 2025. They seem to be, according to source, noticing pressure for the US dollar on a 10-year treasury. They're really looking at things and noticing pressure in the US for a 10-year treasury. As of April 21, 2025, the tariffs for China, definitely without a doubt, have been hardest felt at China more than for anyone else, it seems. They still is talking things out, even with Home Depot, Target, Lowe's, and Walmart, whom all get imports from China for their business. Quote from source. Analysts are concerned that these retailers would see a considerable, especially large in size hit to their profit margins as a result of tariffs. Walmart shares are up less than 2% in 2025, while the others have all posted double-digit losses. Target has been hit hardest, down 32% so far this year. So, I guess people boycotting Walmart, Target, and others, going back to February 2025, may had started to causing something for their numbers going wrong as well then, did they, or did they not? And are people still boycotting places for things today? If so, then why be so concerned about the stores now, since you've contributed thus far to this all now happening, correct? Breaking news, April 22, 2025. South Korea has faced attempts to pass off goods from China as Korean exports. This is being done to find a way around U.S. President Donald Trump's large, heavy tariffs. Why was South Korea wanting to pass off goods from China as Korean exports? Did South Korea realize that doing this may also become South Korea to must have tariffs of their own to pay as well? The children are smart, but not as smart as they want to be. Did South Korea realize what all entirely that they were doing around the time of April 22, 2025, or not? If USA was to do what South Korea had done, then would USA now be in trouble to must pay tariffs or not? Wake up everybody, and now I believe that even South Korea had better wake up too. More, from source. Trump, who took office in January, has forced significant duties on various goods and countries, including tariffs on China, which began to rise in February. There was a rise in disguised export attempts during Trump's first presidency, and we expect there to be a similar trend, said Lee Kwang-woo, Director of Investigation Planning at the Investigation Service. Are they really looking at things, even from a few years ago, about Trump, and not just right now, in 2025, while talking as though it is already said and done to must pay, but they're still making negotiations about things? Why are they showing all of these processes of negotiations being done? Because didn't they always do this kind of stuff? Usually would be done without being talked about so much on the news and internet until the negotiations has actually become both set and completely finalized amongst everyone that are involved in the making of the actual negotiations. Are they still working on negotiations until July 2025 or not? Because if so, then why are all of these processes being made to be so big, so much, before that they are done? And was China really trying to use South Korea, an USA ally, to not follow accordingly, as how USA says to do? Do people understand what ally is supposed to still mean today, as of May 2025, or not? Define ally. A state formally cooperating with another for a military or other purpose. A person or organization that cooperates with or helps another in a particular activity. A person or organization that actively supports the rights of a minority or marginalized group without being a member of it. A group of nations taking military action together, in particular, the countries that fought with the US in World War I and World War II. Define ally. Combine or unite a resource or useful or valuable thing with another. For friendly relations. To be returned, benefit. Side with or support. According to source, the United States had supported South Korea during the Korean War. The US was a major participant in the UN-led effort to defend South Korea against the invasion by North Korea. In fact, the US provided the great size amount of the troops and resources for the UN forces. So, USA had helped South Korea, and now, this is the way that South Korea wants to pay back the USA by helping China to not pay their own taxes due? And was South Korea really doing this around the time of April 22, 2025, while both USA and China are still working things out? Is the USA and China still negotiating things and have up until July 2025 to do so? So now, the real question is, does China really wants to cooperate with the USA today, or not, as of May 2025? Because China sure seems to be doing a whole lot of stuff to keep from paying their own taxes due, while meanwhile, things has not even been fully settled yet on what China is to do. If so, am I correct or not? Quote from source. The inspection found 3.3 billion won worth of specialized substances used in battery manufacturing, particularly lithium-ion batteries, to store and release lithium ions during charging and discharging. Used for batteries imported from China and shipped to the United States, with South Korea falsely labeled as the country of origin. These cathode materials, typically metal oxides like lithium cobalt oxide, lithium manganese oxide, or lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide, play a crucial role in determining the battery's performance characteristics, like energy density, power output, and stability. And I thought that China always had wanted to make sure that people knows what was made by China, so I guess now, China don't care about their stamp, made by China, anymore? Do so you China, or China, do so you not? More, from source. In March, 19.3 billion won worth of surveillance cameras were imported from China, in parts, and reassembled in South Korea, to find a way around US restrictions on Chinese communication devices. There you go again, and I must add here to say, it was very sneaky of China, doing that, quite like that, wasn't it? So I guess China really don't care about their own, made by China stamp, anymore, since China is now allowing for someone else to reassemble China's own products and then redistributing them as their own products. I guess China don't care about this all anymore, being done unto them, because China now has done authorized for this kind of action to now be done unto China's very own self, for their own, made by China products. More, from source. The Korean Customs Service has set up a special task force to prevent attempts to illegally export such goods and plans to develop more specific response measures to protect domestic companies. Meanwhile, the identified violations will be referred to lawyers. Oh, they got they lawyers. They better have them messing around with China, even if China say that you can do so. It also seems that the Korean Customs Service is monitoring something of all of this. I'll just say that much. Quote, from source, as of April 22, 2025. This month, meaning April 2025, Trump forced 25% tariffs on South Korea, among other sweeping new duties that were later suspended for 3 months. Are they still negotiating things until July 2025? Now the US is forcing 145% tariffs on China. Seems to be this much percentage, just only for China. Following revenge measures that have cut off trade between the world's 2 largest economies. As of April 22, 2025, there seems to has been something going on about China. There has to be something going on about China for source to use the words revenge measures like that. Watch China, because something definitely now seems to has been going on about China. Not everyone has a high increase on tariffs, just China mainly, the most. I'm just going to say it again. Something seems to have been going on about China lately, as of April 22, 2025. Breaking news, April 23, 2025. The Commerce Department, this week, meaning the week of April 23, 2025, announced plans to increase tariffs on solar panels from East Asia, alleging that panels from Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam are receiving Chinese monies for support. According to April 23, 2025, news source. Panels from Cambodia received the highest tariffs. Vietnamese and Thai had also received increased tariffs, but Malaysia had received the lowest increase percentage on tariffs. Quote, from source. Tariffs on foreign solar panels are something of a thing involving the agreement or cooperation of 2 political parties that usually oppose each other kind of issue. Both Republicans and many Democrats hope to see U.S. companies gain an advantage over China. More, quote, from source. The Commerce Department is holding China responsible for its extending or operating across national boundaries, giving support monies through other countries that harm American industry. Market distorting, unfair trade practices against America have no place to hide. Commerce Secretary said in a statement. However, the ones that have unfavorable opinions of high solar tariffs note, taxing imports could make solar more expensive to install, which ultimately could mean less energy on the grid and worse climate outcomes. The plan comes from the International Trade Administration, but the tariffs cannot be forced until a separate U.S. government body, the International Trade Commission, determines whether U.S. companies have been injured by imports from foreign countries. The Commission will make that decision in June. Oh, so they will be looking like deciding something somewhere for this all in June 2025? So that means that they now got 1 more month for negotiations, being that it is now already May 7, 2025. They are still working things out, so why are people talking like as though this all is already finalized? June 2025. This is only just, but still, May 2025. Got 1 more month. They is still working things out with everyone, oy vey. And they're now saying, as of April 23, 2025, that it is because that America has such high labor cost is another reason that has been going to China. So the only way, in my mind, to fix that would be as if everyone in America would become to be each themselves, willing to lower each their own labor cost, but until that they all would willingly do so, then America is going to need China, and whosoever others, to help them make more products. So yet again, can you see now, the problem of issues, amongst the peoples, occurring to be the problem, here today, once more? Well, that's all for now. Peace. YouTube, please get ready to pop up the thumbnails, okay? And thank you very much for watching, and if you've still haven't watched the previous related news video from GJ3 full, then you should see it now, floating around there, in the front of me, on your screen, somewhere there. Did they put it in my face again? Anyway, if you see it there, then tap it, if you haven't given your focus to it yet. Will you, just so that you can know all of the details for your own self later? Alright, YouTube, pop the thumbnails up. End this thing.